Hello, I hope you are enjoying this warm weather that we have, even though we are here in November already. And November marks Native American Heritage Month, and it really gives us the opportunity to both acknowledge and understand the real challenge that we have placed on the indigenous people as they've gone through their history. So what we do know is that the celebration that Native Americans have made has been through their contributions as scientists, as doctors, as folks who have really led the way for so many. And we're so grateful to have such a strong community, vibrant community down here in South Jersey. And we really are honored to continue to welcome all diverse populations and make sure that we both appreciate the history and understand it how it may impact how we all work together and live together, but really that we have opportunities to continue to learn and grow from each other. So speaking of diverse communities, I was thrilled that Inspira was chosen as the Humanitarian of the Year award for the PRAC organization. It was really recognizing the tremendous leadership that our team members have shown during COVID and for the commitment to the community, stepping up during COVID and actually delivering care to people impacted by COVID or the administration of the vaccines that we did throughout the community, including on the farms with people who are homebound, really making sure that we met people where they were. And it was just a wonderful celebration, and I was so honored to accept that on behalf of all of the Inspira family. So next time you're at Mullica Hill at the hospital, I hope you will take the opportunity to take note of the new name that is on the outside of the building. The Paz family has generously contributed to continue the important work that we have done already in really bonding our patients and our clinicians to be able to empower the patients to have the information they need to be able to continue to grow and flourish. The Paz family has a long history in our community, tremendous entrepreneurs, and we're really grateful to John Paz and the entire family for this very, very important gift that will really help continue us to flourish throughout Gloucester County. And speaking of continued growth and flourishing, we have a tremendous new addition to our Inspira family in Vineland. We did our ribbon cutting at the endoscopy suites last week. We know that GI issues, gastro issues continue to be prevalent, especially in this time post-COVID. And so it's really wonderful that we have these state-of-the-art suites that we can get people in. And the team is overwhelmed with joy, and we are so very grateful because we also could announce that our foundation donated the property for that site, and really it's just another example of both the philanthropic work that is going on in Inspira, but the tremendous commitment that we continue to make to expand services to our community. So speaking of continued expansion, we're thrilled that we received a $10,000 Delaware United Way grant for the expansion of specifically transportation services for individuals in Salem County who have been identified with cancer, but they themselves have indicated that transportation becomes a limitation for them to be able to get their appropriate care. It's one thing to get a cancer diagnosis, it's another thing to think that there's no way for you to be able to get to access the care you need. And so that is just a really important grant. And again, we continue to look for those opportunities to find ways to partner and be able to meet the needs of our very, very diverse community. And speaking of cancer, I am just overwhelmed at the opportunity to share with you a patient's story today. If you go on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the full video. But Missy Cosgrove and her husband Joe were kind enough to allow me to come into their home and interview Missy to talk about her journey. So Joe and Missy have a very deep understanding of healthcare because Joe is an entrepreneur and he has really made his mark in reference to specific nutrition programs for individuals who are suffering with kidney disease, specifically in reference to renal nutrition treatments. And it just is another example of their family's commitment to helping others. And so here Missy needed that help. And so of course, Joe was going to go throughout any place in the country that she could go to be able to get the best treatment. And the surprise, I think, to them was that after all of that investigation, they ended up here at Inspira.
I didn't even know Inspira did cancer. And they were going to give me the same remedies and treatments that they were going to give any place else, but it was close to home for me. I went to other places and I was overwhelmed. Like I cried, I was overwhelmed. I was like a lot of sick people. And and it happens, but I'm glad I chose Inspira. I am so glad. Just meant a lot to my heart.
We really need to make sure we take care, and all those little signs, and even the signs you don't have, but just get those screenings. It really is so very critical. So I thank Missy and Joe again for their generosity in sharing this story, and I encourage you to go to the website and make sure you can see the full video. It's definitely worth it. And speaking of screenings, November also marks Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we have new technology at Inspira that really allows us to proceed in a very different way to identify not just whether there's some type of shadow on your lung, but really get in there and be able to identify exactly how big it is, exactly what we need to do, and really helps the entire treatment process. So I'd really encourage you. You'll see a lot of our lung screening work is going on in the community. We have been granted federal dollars to be able to really expand those services. And so making sure we get those screenings out to people and we get you in for screening is our top priority. Lastly, I'd like to close by a special recognition for all of you who have served our country. Friday, November 11th, obviously, is Veterans Day, and we have so many members of both our family and Inspira, those who are employed, as well as our patients, who have so actively served and given so much for us to be able to live in this country and have the freedoms that we do have. Thank you for your service, and thanks to your family. Until we meet again, be well and stay safe.